Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in shows that we're watching. So if that sounds like something you will enjoy, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we're reacting to episode 10 of Witch Hat Atelier, and then we only have 3 more episodes after this, which is quite sad. I was kind of hoping that maybe it'd be like a split season 1, and there still could be a chance that we get another half of season 1 later in the year. Who knows? Or maybe they're just going to keep season 1 at 13 and then do a longer season 2. But this has been phenomenal. I really enjoyed every moment of Witch Hat Atelier. It's just so whimsical and beautiful. And I love the animation. The animation is absolutely astonishing, and the music, I think the music for Witch Hat Atelier, it's not quite as good as Freerun, but it is definitely up there as being just as good as Freerun. But I feel like Freerun's always going to be just that next level phenomenal. I have a bruise on my arm. I've just noticed that. Interesting. Don't know what that's from. I just lifted my arm then and I was like, what the fuck? I bruised so goddamn easily. But the last episode, we saw Coco ending up in the hospital because she has a fever. She also fixed Agate's shoes, but not quite correctly because Agate was going super fast and couldn't quite stop herself. We have Tete, probably butchering his name, do apologize, seeing Qifrey, who is taking Coco to the hospital. So I imagine he's going to have some very serious questions for Qifrey in relation to his granddad and why his granddad suddenly doesn't remember that big bright light. But I really just adore the world building. I just want to know more about the Brimmed Caps. I want to know more about their organization. It feels like their entire organization is people angry at the way that the society is controlling magic and limiting it, that they want magic to be accessible to everyone. It probably started with good intentions and then maybe quickly descended into chaos, which tends to happen. You know, they say the path to hell is paved with good intentions. So it sounds as if, you know, this society is very strict. There are people like Teta who want to be witches that can't be witches because they're told that because of a congenital disability, they can't train and they're limited from what they can actually do. And I imagine it's not just Teta, there's other people, and you kind of have to wonder how many people have the potentiality but are told that they don't meet the expectations of the society. Are the Brim Caps maybe those that are preying on people who want to be witches, but society hasn't allowed them to be, so they've been enticed to join the Brim Caps because the organization plays on that desire of wanting something the society tells them that they can't have. It preys on the downcast and the vulnerable, much in the same way that we see Qifrey not preying on the downcast and the vulnerable, but he takes in children that are seen as outcasts. You know, Coco's an outsider. We don't know about Rika and Tetia, but we do know that Agate is also similarly an outcast from her own family. So the fact that he's taken in 2 outcasts means that Tetia and Rika are most likely also similar in that they were maybe not treated very well, and Qifrey saw something in them, potentiality. So it does raise some interesting questions as to whether that's how the Brimmed Caps build their organization, but also perhaps the Brim Caps started with good intentions of wanting the society to change and to broaden and be more accessible to help those in need, a bit like how we saw there were the healing witches that stood up against the 3 wise ones because they saw it as being completely ridiculous that healing magic would be seen as forbidden and banned, and then they ended up being sort of taken out the picture. So the fact that the Brimcaps can also use this technique that the healing witches had that was lost makes me think that there is a connection there, that maybe some of them survived, that they weren't wiped from the society of magic, or maybe they had children who have grown up resentful, who have then created an organization as almost rebellion against the three wise ones and the society that has penalized their parents. I feel like the Brimcaps are very much the misfits in the magical world looking to establish themselves, but in doing so, what they're inevitably achieving is chaos and sowing discontent. But the discontent is a critique of the societal structure. It's very fascinating. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 10 and see how Coco's getting on.
物事をよく見てるのかな。
この前の強い光。
Oh, he knows more than you think.
何か俺、あなたに聞きたいことがあるんです。
To wipe my granddad's memories? Would he be honest is the question. Would he actually tell him?
僕でよければ何でも聞いてくれ。魔法についての質問なら大歓迎だよ。さあ、タータ君、何が知りたい？
He's like, I didn't expect this!
そういう質問じゃないって言いにくい。キラキラしてて言いにくい。
He's too bright and cheerful.
疲労と睡眠不足から来る風邪
Oh,
ですね。
Coco.
しばらくの間眠れてなかったようです。睡眠と栄養をちゃんと取れば大丈夫。
God love her.
今夜は念のためこちらで休ませましょう。魔法使いがどのような厳しい修行を積むのか知りませんが、まだ子供ですよ。周りの大人がちゃんと気にかけてあげてくださいね。
Oh, she's saying you're a bad dad, Qifrey. So you didn't pay enough attention to her.
ごめんね、ここ。
But then again, he was kind of obsessed with the brimmed caps and the ink, so I mean... He probably feels guilt now. He's like, oh, I let her down. I didn't see just how exhausted she was getting.
少しは楽になるといいけど。
きついなら倒れるまで無理することないのに。
体も心も行動も自分の思い通りにならない時はあるよ。明るく振る舞っていても内心不安でいっぱいだったんだろう。
And guilt.
知らなかった。噂の知らざる者。
Here's
ま
Coco.
さかこいつが。
タータ君、何か僕に聞きたいことがあるようだったけど、また今度でいいかな。やっぱり今はちょっと。
わかりました。
Oh, he's such a good kid, though. In that, like, he's willing to just hold off, whereas I'm not that nice. I'd be like, Qifrey, what the fuck did you do to my granddad? I would be so much more harsh. But then again, it's hard because Qifrey's a respected adult witch, you know? And he's just a kid. He's gonna feel bad, like, accusing him of
一瞬
something.
凍るような視線を感じた気がしたんだけど。
Oh, yeah. The same look your granddad
勘違いだ
saw.
ったのかな。
No, it was not your imagination. Qifrey can be scary.
あの島のものならとんがり帽子はどうした？
Oh, he's left it
魔法使い
in the
の証を持たな
hospital.
いものは通せないよ。
ありますここに。あれない。
あ？
俺今朝も渡って。
知るか。そうやって潜り込もうとするクソガキはたくさんいるんだ。
Oh.
帽子がないと帰れない。見つ
It's
け
like,
た
I need to find it.
呼吸も落ち着いてきましたね。このまま寝ていれば回復すると思います。
よかった。
この辺りだけ空気がひんやりしていて心地いい。魔法はすごいですね。
It
お
really
医者様
is.
もすごいですよ。魔法で病気は治せないので、これくらいしか。
我々にも使えたらよかったのですが。
I mean, you could. That's the thing. Like, he has to hold his tongue there because he's saying, oh, I wish I could have this in my toolbox. You can. You could. But it's been banned. And I can't tell you that. Just this whole secrecy must be so difficult. It's really conflicting. You could see it in the Knights Morales where, you know, she was asked, begged by that father to, like, heal his son. And he's like, you must have healing magic. And she's like, no, we don't. But you could see, like, that confliction that we really should have this, but we don't. But I do love that Qifrey always shows appreciation for other people and that not all magic comes from being a witch and being able to perform and cast spells, but magic can be found in the use of hands, in the talents that you create for yourself. You know, like he commended Coco's skills in her mother's shop as being like magic. And then likewise, he's essentially commending this doctor, essentially saying to him that my magic can't cure disease. It probably could have if it hadn't been banned. So you can do something that I can't do, and that's magic in itself. It's about finding value in what you can do. But I just love that sense of appreciation that Qifrey seems to have for other people that aren't witches, that he can find a means of complimenting them. At times, he looks really conflicted when he gets complimented, almost as if like this isn't necessarily the life that he wants for himself, but it's the life that he found himself thrust into. But I imagine maybe he feels conflicted, this following society's rules, but not always agreeing with it. He's different in that instead of joining something like the Brimmed Caps, which is essentially rebelling against society, he's compliant with it, but defies in his own minor ways, not ways to like get their memories wiped. Well, he nearly did with Coco and himself, but he finds ways to kind of slip through the gaps, slip through the rules, whereas he's not extreme enough to think that the brim caps are the option and the solution. But they've taken something from him, and that's why he's obsessed with them, but we don't know what they've taken.
お医者さんいるかい。北の酒場でぼや騒ぎだ。怪我人を助けようにも酔っ払いだらけで動かせねえもんって。あんた魔法使い、それに水使いか。ちょうどいい。
He doesn't want to leave Coco, but he's gonna have to.
魔法使いは困ってる市民の味方だろう。
ちょっとダメですよ。
You
ここを
have
離れ
to.
るわけには。
言ってあげてください。魔法使いのお仕事です。
Oh, she's so cute.
わかった。すぐ戻るから。ゆっくり休んでるんだよ。
And she's like, you have to go because it's what witches do, and I'd be proud of you if you go.
強がっちゃった。
She doesn't want to be left alone though. She's just a
一人
kid.
になるのちょっと怖い。
Oh, Coco. She's so cute. She's like, I don't want him to feel bad because he needs to go.
あとはここくらいしか。
But I also don't want to be alone. But she's probably not going to be alone because he needs his hat, so he's probably going to stay with her. Sneak, sneak, sneak. I love that when we see things from his perspective, we actually see it in silver. It's so subtle, the detail, but absolutely amazing that they give it from his eyes directly.
うなされてる。
He's not going to be able to leave her.
おい、あんた大丈夫か。
びっくりしたよ。どうしてこ。
Oh, Coco.
誰かいないのか。
No,
お医者様
Qifrey
が
had to
いないはずない
go.
だろう。キーフリーさんは。
先生たちは。
She's got herself worked up and it's made her cold worse.
だからさっき人が外に呼びに行った方がいいかも。
She doesn't want to be alone.
とりあえず何か熱冷ましの薬を飲んだ方がいい。あれ、熱とか咳止めに効くんだ。きっと手の届くところに。
He doesn't know.
ない。嘘だろ。薬はラベルつけとけよ。
People that can see the colors. God love him. Oh, that's so tragic because he's like, who doesn't label them? But they don't need to because they know based on the color what the medicine is. I love the representation of his disability and that sense of fear and that like palpable frustration of not being able to tell the difference, of the world not being inclusive to him, that it isolates him because these bottles don't have labels. He can't tell them apart. But the reason they don't have labels is because the doctors don't need to worry about that because they already know what it is based on the colors. If something like a label doesn't even come to their mind, but it's something like that, something so minor that makes the difference between being inclusive and not being inclusive. And again, as I mentioned, I really love that when we see from his point of view, we know that he has a congenital condition, but they really emphasize it by having us see through his perspective, actually see through his perspective. They could have overlooked it, but the fact that they show everything in silver really lets us understand what he's experiencing and how difficult it is for him to navigate this world. But the fact that he's trying his best to help Coco and he's meeting an obstacle like this, you can really feel that frustration and it really breaks your heart. You just want to give him a hug and you just want to help him and support him. But it's the way that he's trying to overcome it for her because he doesn't want her to suffer. He wants her to feel relief from her cold. It's so cute.
他の人は色が違うから判別できるのか。
Yeah.
またこれだよ。みん
An
ながみん
obstacle.
な同じ世界を見てて
Yeah.
当たり前だと思ってるんだから。
And they don't.
マザイアとしても半人前にしかなるまいよ。
子供のうちはよくてもね。
ペン削りが上手で助かったな。
人にはできることとできないことがあるんだから、できることだけやればいいのさ。
マゾメの材料には薬草もよく使われる。種類さえ分かれば効果も全部覚えてるのに、肝心な時に何もできない。すべてが銀色のこの世界では
Oh, God love
可
him.
能性だって見えやしないんだ。
The fact that he's being berated and spoken down to, that he just has to accept that he can't do what others can do. But instead of trying to find ways to include him, they just automatically isolate him. They just tell him, you're never going to be able to do this. You're never going to be able to do that. And like, this is a child as well. And they're all stood around him saying, well, it's a good thing he can carve pens because he can't do anything else. He can't go far as a magic stationer. But the fact that his granddad supports him, his granddad has him helping him, they label everything, they put everything in a specific order. It's like his granddad's trying to show him that he shouldn't limit himself just because of the silver watch, that there are ways for him to navigate this world in a different way to those that can see color, but it shouldn't stop him from pursuing what he wants to pursue. I think that's what his granddad's trying to do, that his granddad's kind of trying to find a way around it, an alternative, that he's not seeing him limited. But it's still not what he wants. He wants to be a witch, but he can't fully be a witch because they're basically saying that he can't see the colors of the specific inks. But the fact that they just write him off, they don't try to find a way to include him, don't try to find alternatives. It's just instantly, well, you can't do it, so therefore you need to go find something else you can do. And I guess like some people could argue it as, well, we all have to accept our limitations, but there's a difference between inclusion and actually not being able to do it. Because if he couldn't do it because of the disability, point blank, and there was no other accommodation, then you could see it from that perspective. But there's always accommodations that can be found. There's always ways around things. So the fact that they just write it off instantly makes you wonder how many other people have suffered this. How many other children have been told that they can't do something because of a disability, and they've just accepted that they've never been given the confidence and the support to find a way to pursue what they're passionate about, but through a new lens, through a different angle, that they can find a way around it, that not everything has to be done a specific way in order for it to be right, that there's accommodations that can be made. If you get what I mean, I don't know if I'm describing it properly. You know, for example, with the vials, he would have been able to find the right one if it was labeled. But the fact that such accommodations aren't being made is what isolates him further.
悪い俺、役立たずで苦しいのはあんたの方だよな。
Oh.
水飲むだろ。ほら、これ。
ありがとう。
He's such a good kid.
そういやこれってじいちゃんが魔木を作るときにいつも使ってる。そうか。これなら液体と薬を分離できる。薬を溶かしている水を取り除けば混ざってるものがわかるかも。いたわり草は粉末薬だ。
See what I mean? He's trying to find another way, an alternative.
月明かりに透かして発光するやつも液体が減るだけのやつも違う。
Look at him go!
これであと3本。くそくそ、ここまではできたのに。 こまで
You can. You can.
頑張ったんだけど、俺にはやっぱり無理みたいだ。どうして何かできるって思っちゃったんだろ
Oh.
う。俺にはできないって
Because you wanted to
分かってた
help.
はずなのに。
I want to hug him so badly.
できないことをできるようにするために助けてくれるのが魔法だよ。
Oh.
何の魔法を書いてるんだ？それを使えばあんたは楽になるのか？
No.
タータ君と私、二人とも助けてくれる魔法だよ。
俺も？俺のことも助けてくれる魔法って
Oh,
一体どんな魔
Coco.
法なんだ？
トンネルを作ったり、岩を崩して砂にしたり、何度も助けてくれた魔法なの。矢が変われば魔法も変わる。破砕の矢をいつもと逆さまに描くの。本来は形を粉々にできる魔法だから。
砂状のものに形を与える魔法になる。
本当の形をたくさん知ってるタータ君なら、覚えたことのすべてから答えを導いてくれるはず。弱ってると本当ダメだ。
Oh, Coco.
同じ形で綺麗に描けばいいんだよな。
できればもっとバランスよく。
描くのはともかくバランスを見るのは得意だ。いつも似たことやってるから。この矢なんだけど、上と下だけじゃなくて右と左にも描いていいか？このままだと漏れがあって、その部分の
Maybe
形
this
成が甘
is
くなるん
what's
だと
going to
思う。
start him actually realizing that he can do magic.
あんたの魔法を勝手に変えて。
い
You
いの。
know, that he shouldn't just
その
write
話
off pursuing
それ
what
に
he's passionate about.
タータ君の工夫で結果を変えたら、それはもう
Just look at the
タータ君の魔
knowledge
法だ
that he
よ。
has. He's like, if I change it, it'll alter it this way. Like, he obviously knows what he's talking about. Oh, the music is so good. Look how steady that is. Look what you did. You did that. I could.
できた。
You did.
できた。できたよ俺。やった。あーごめん。
Oh.
すぎだよな。これ全部いたわりそうじゃなかったのか。この中にあると思い込んでた。俺この魔法で薬草室を探してくるよ。この魔法なら見つけられる。
He's completely forgotten about his hat. Oh no! What if they see him randomly running about casting spells or using a spell with no hat?
トゲの木、風車花、海いばら、眠り柳にアメバチの巣。本で覚えたやつと同じだ。すごい。魔法陣をかざすたび、世界に焦点が合っていくみたいだ。
Magic really is beautiful.
覚えたことのすべてが俺に答えを教えてくれる。できるようになることが増えるのはこ
Liberating.
んなに
Free.
こんなにも。見つけた。早く持って行ってやんねえと。
こらあなた、そこで何をしているのです。病院を完全に空にするはずがないでしょう。
He was
そ
just
れに
trying to
薬に
help.
ラベルがないのも勝手にいじらせないためです。お友達を心配する気持ちは立派ですが、薬は毒にもなるんですから。まあこの場合はいたわりそうで正解ですが、医療の道に興味が。あら、その帽子 魔法使いの見習いさんだったのね。
Oh, look at her little face. I'm so proud of him.
火も落ち着いてきたので、この場を任せても大丈夫でしょうか。弟子が心配で。
おいおい、どこ行くんだ。現場の片付けがまだ残ってるじゃん。
He did what he came to do.
いつも楽してんだろう。こういう時には率先して働いてもらうにゃ。
知らざる者には分からんさ。気にせず言ってください。ここは私と弟子で。
ありがとうございます。楽でも簡単でもないさ。ちっとも。
No.
でなければみんな悩んだり苦しんだりするものか。
Part of being a witch. Teta learned firsthand. Oh, he stayed with her all night by her bed. So cute.
息がしやす
よかった。
い。薬が効いたのかな。ありがとう。
Medicine in good company.
俺こそ助けられたっていうか。
Oh, his little
魔法使
blush.
いってすごいな。
魔法使いってすごいよね。
I really want nothing but the best for Teta.
知らせてくれてありがとうな、キーフリー。
いや、困った時はお互い
He's not gonna ask him the question, is he?
俺。
Oh wait, no,
この
he
間う
is.
ちで見た光のことを聞きたかったんですけど。
光
Qifrey.
お主も無理をしすぎるからな。体に気をつけるんじゃぞ。
Either Qifrey's gaslighting him or Qifrey also wiped his own memory.
もう一度自分で調べ直してみよう。あの強い光のことは。
I don't think he wiped his own memory. I think he's gaslighting him.
タータくん。またね。
Oh, they're adorable.
はい。
俺、ココのためにペンを作るよ。
Oh,
それで自分の魔法でこの川渡って届けに行くから絶対。
it's reignited his passion in pursuing magic
楽しみにしてるね。
to not accept limitations.
ずいぶん仲良く
Oh,
なったみ
they're
たい
so
だな。
cute.
あいつすごいんだ。きっともっとすごいやつになるよ。
Oh, he's in love.
お前も
Oh,
お前にな
he
れると
will. He truly will. Oh my god.
ずっと悪夢のせいで眠れなかったんだね。夢は対処が難しい。眠らせる魔法は禁止魔法だし。
I'm glad that she's finally telling him what's been troubling her.
でももう大丈夫な気がします。
無理してない。
はい、一つ希望が見えてきましたから。矢を逆さまに書いたら魔法の効果も反転する。それは禁止魔法も同じはず。
It's given her a new perspective.
お母さんを石にした魔法も反転できるかもしれない。
Oh, maybe, hopefully.
熱はもういいの？よかった。よかったね。
She looks so relieved.
贈り物はうまくいかなかったようですね。平和ボケしたとんがり帽子も愚か者ばかりではないと見える。
では次は君が行くのかい？禁止魔法の体現者である。
An embodiment of forbidden magic.
そのつもりです。弟子が死の庇護を離れる試験の時を。
It's the perfect time to
見逃
strike.
せはないですから。
So basically, they're like when Coco does her second test, they'll instantly use that as the opportunity to isolate her. I love that she's running to Agate, but oh my goodness, the pointed caps aren't all fools gone soft from days of peace. Oh, I just have so many questions about the brimmed caps and what they're doing, and just I want answers. They keep sort of taunting us, but that's the whole point, really, is because they want us to be invested and engaged. They're not going to give us all the information off the bat, but Oh, this was such a beautiful episode showing that you shouldn't just allow yourself to be limited, that you can find ways to pursue what you're passionate in. You just have to find the right accommodation. So the fact that that's reignited his passion, that he's saying, I'm going to make a pen for you, but not just that, I'm going to use my own magic to deliver it to you. It's reasserted to him that he can do this. He can find a sense of purpose and belonging, even though other people have said that he can't. And the fact that his granddad says, you'll be amazing too, just reasserts what I said, that I think his granddad didn't accept those limitations because he didn't want his grandson to feel that he couldn't achieve what he set his mind to. He wanted his grandson to be aware that what other people thought, their opinions were irrelevant, that they could find a way to ensure that he got the skills and knowledge that he would need in order to benefit him in the future. And that's what he accomplished, and that's what he did. And just seeing those moments where he's like so downcast, he's like, why did I think I could do this? I of course can't do this. It's all those negative words that have been thrown at him, that he's not capable, that he's never going to achieve anything because of his silver wash, and he's letting that compound him. But to see Coco have this belief and faith in him, and to see the beauty that comes with magic, but also her willingness to help him, you know, she's saying what we can't achieve alone, magic can help. And the fact that he sees that and is like, oh, if I invert the signs, maybe I can find what I'm looking for, I can achieve the spell that I'm looking for. And then Coco's complaining that it's wobbly, and he's like, yeah, but I'm good at balance, and he's able to do it, and he achieves something, and he gets the medicine that he needs to help her, even though he gets the lecture of, you know, certain medicines can be poison, but he did find the right one in the end, and he knew that, he wasn't dumb. But it also makes sense that they're not labeled, so no one can interfere with them and switch labels, and it ends up being poisonous in large doses and not being what they need. So yeah, kind of smart, but also you can understand his frustration that he's so used to things being labeled, because that's the accommodation his granddad's made so that he can help and he can learn the trade and his grandfather's skills. But in other environments, it doesn't necessarily work that way. I love Turta, I love Coco, I just love this show. But just the way that he asks the question and they both go, ray of light, but then you don't really see Qifrey's face, and it kind of makes me think either Qifrey's gaslighting or Qifrey also wiped his own memories. But I don't think he would have wiped his own memories, because he needs to be aware of what he's done, especially because he left and he was fully like, I will protect you, Coco, at any cost. You don't need to worry about anything. And then still remembered what the flask was. So he definitely still has his memories. He's just playing along that there was no ray of light. Poor Teta is literally going to hate Qifrey once he finds out the truth. That's my worry, is that like him and Coco can't be friends because of Qifrey, but Qifrey is clearly feeling the guilt and burden of responsibility for neglecting Coco in his pursuit of information regarding the brim caps. He's realizing the consequences of that obsession, because if he hadn't been so fixated and then also completely out of it the next day because of the brim caps realizing what he was doing, and then he nearly got drowned and then, you know, electrocuted at the same time, and his body was recovering, he would have seen just how hard Coco was pushing herself, how exhausted she was. But he didn't notice it because he was still dealing with his own issues, that Coco ended up getting a fever and needing to go into hospital. So I think that moment of, I really fucked up, I neglected my duties as her teacher and this parental figure, is sort of the reminder that he needs, that his pursuit of the brimmed cap shouldn't come at the cost of Coco and the girls that are under his care, and that this is a dangerous path he's pursuing, and it risks the girls too. He puts them in danger the more he pursues this path. But I'm excited to see Coco regain a sense of hope that this inversion of the sigils may help her save her mom, that it's sort of this shining beacon that if she can just find the spell that she used again, she'll be able to save her mom from the stone, that she'll be able to reverse the damage that she's been done. My concern is that technically what she cast initially was forbidden magic, right? Even if she inverts the sigils, would it still not be forbidden magic? Because it is the same spell, just slightly altered. I don't know how they're going to wrestle with that. If maybe inverting the sigils, the loophole that it's suddenly not forbidden, who knows? But my worry is that in order for her to save her mom, she might have to use forbidden magic and kind of wrestle with this idea. But maybe it comes down to this idea of sacrifice. You know, would you sacrifice being a witch and this knowledge of magic if it meant being reunited with your mom? And she did say that she would never leave her mom's side, that if it meant abandoning her mom, she would never pursue being a witch. So maybe the catalyst of the story is her having to choose what she would rather sacrifice. I hope that's not the case. I hope she does get to have both, but I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to really play with our heartstrings. Also emphasizing once again just how good of a person Coco is, in that she is selfless in her sacrifice. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of the Brimmed Caps, especially now that we have another figure that is deciding to show themselves. And then they talked about how when the apprentice is away from the master during the test is the time to strike, which kind of implies that Coco may be doing the second test. We know Agate is, but I don't know if Coco will be, but it kind of sounds like maybe they think Coco will be doing the second test. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!